Hi everyone, Ashley Mailloux here, taking a look at the Tuesday race of the day out at Assiniboia. They have a 7-race program. We're going to focus in on race 3. It's the Golden Boy. It's a $50,000 stakes race for the 3-year-olds. 6 furlongs is the distance, and we'll take a look at the slate here for the field. And just 5 entered, with 2 horses taking a lot of the respect on the morning line, that being the 4 Medicine Dog, but the 5 Just Trust Me even more so at 2-5 off a very nice win last time out in an overnight stake. The Fancy as overnight was just a dominant winner. So not surprised to see these 2 taking the respect, but still 3 other rivals will try to contest them in this event. And lots going to come down to the pace scenario. We'll take a look at the Time Form US projection for the Golden Boy, and a couple of horses figure to be forward. The 3 Shocking Malice could be maybe stalking just off of it, has sort of gotten those trips on the debut and then more recently in that overnight stake back on June 3rd. But Medicine Dog, in my opinion, I agree with this. He wants to be forward. He's been able to be really close to some fast fractions at Remington. And even in his last 2 races out at Assiniboia, he's been close to the pace. So we'll see how quick they go early. And I don't think it's going to be lightning quick by any means, but I do think there will be a couple of horses maybe pressing one another in the early stages of this event. But we'll dive into it here with the number 1, Shankadopoulos here for the Andre Ellis barn, who was a winner last time out, but obviously a different circuit in that most recent effort and had 4 rivals and took a lot of respect in that spot. You go down the page, though, this horse has races down at Turf Paradise, where this one wasn't all that competitive. And I feel like this is a big jump up in class and just doesn't have that local experience. So that's why you're seeing 25-1 on the morning line, a big price and a little bit of a tough sell for me. We'll move to the number 2 in here, Cold Boy. And Cold Boy, we'll look at his most recent performance. He, just like a couple of others in here, Shocking Malice, Just Trust Me, they were the top 3 in the Fancy as overnight back on June 3rd. In the case of Cold Boy, there's a couple of things. It was his first start since September. He was returning to Assiniboia, and he tried to close from off of it. And just obviously the winner ends up being much the best. But this horse only misses second by a narrow margin. I thought it was a good effort. I think kind of looking at him in terms of his performances, his best buyer to date, it was a 48. I think there's some upside. I think he can take a step forward in here. And you just wonder, what sort of trip is he going to get? Just like others, they're going to have to go an additional 1/8 of a mile in here. How does that work for him? He could maybe get a piece in here, a minor share in my opinion, but I think he's going to need to step it up as he has to face a couple of those rivals once again, one of which is drawn directly to his outside. We'll move to the 3 Shocking Malice, who on debuted in late March down at Tampa, finished 4th there, only beat 2 rivals, and then made the way out to Assiniboia. And I liked the maiden score 2 back. I thought this horse did everything right. The fractions weren't quick, but I did like that he took some pressure early in the race and then was able to draw clear. And then I think for him, he had to step it up last time out, but he did step it up. We saw it in the replay. He was second best there. Just Trust Me, a dominant winner. But I liked that he wasn't as forward. They went quicker, and I think that's a reason he couldn't be as forward, but he still tried to make some sort of a late bid. And I think at 10-1, he's obviously going to offer more value than the outside 2 runners in here. Has some upside. Both of his performances locally have been quite strong. So I think he's an intriguing player in here. The 4 Medicine Dog up next. Hasn't tackled stakes competition locally, doesn't exit that race, but go down the page. Has tried stakes competition down at Remington Park, one of which was a 3rd place finish in a $75,000 race behind Jolly Samurai, who's turned out to be a good horse. But they even tried this one in the Springboard Mile, and you can see very different plans now as a 3-year-old has completely regrouped, has kind of changed and gone to Assiniboia and was a dominant winner back on June 2nd. I mean, this horse just looked much the best throughout, and it was a really easy win, but then followed that up with a 3rd place finish where it took a lot of play, actually went off as a shorter price and just didn't have that same firepower. So wonder a little bit what happened last time out. I would have expected him to run a little bit better, but maybe it was the spacing in the races. He obviously only had 9 days off between them. And now here he's going to have a little bit longer to recover with 13 days since his most recent effort. So maybe you can make a little bit of excuse for Medicine Dog last time out. And finally, the 5, Just Trust Me. We saw that overnight, what he was able to do in that stakes race. It was very impressive, and a horse that's just really fun to watch. He's 5 for 14 in his career. Go down the page, he's been all over. He's got a win at Pleasanton. He's got a win at Del Mar. And then you can see he's been able to win on the grass and the dirt at Turf Paradise, and then most recently at Assiniboia. So he's certainly got the miles on him in terms of the van rides. He's been able to travel well. He's quick. And I think we haven't seen his true speed yet in the effort at Assiniboia. They went reasonable, and I think for that kind of fractions, those are much within his wheelhouse. But go down the page, I mean, he's been very competitive and very quick races at Turf Paradise, which I do understand is a quicker track in general. You see lightning quick times on the main track, but by far he's the horse to beat in here. He'll try to make it 4 in a row, and I think he finds them in a spot where he should be able to win. So that's the 5 of the field here for this stakes event. Don't forget, it's the $50,000 Golden Boy. It's race 3 on Tuesday, and with it being the race of the day, don't forget free past performances on the DRF website. And we'll move to the top picks in here. And I think I sold it. I'm not going to try to be creative in here. I don't like 2 to 5 shots. I don't like picking 2 to 5 shots on top, but just trust me. I'm going to trust him. Based on what we've seen so far, he is the horse to beat. He has the early speed. He doesn't need the lead to win. And he's just very, very talented. And I think we could see him go on to do some bigger things than just this stakes race. So the 5 on top for me. I will use the 4 Medicine Dog underneath and maybe give him a little bit of a excuse for the last out effort. And then finally was looking for a price and was torn between the 2 Coal Boy or the 3 Shocking Malice. And I just went back to Coal Boy and thought maybe he has room to take a step forward. He's just made his first start of the year off the long layoff. I think if he can take a step forward, maybe he can beat Shocking Malice, who I mentioned was the other horse that I was considering. So I will use Coal Boy in the 3rd spot. But interesting field of 5 here for race 3. It's the Golden Boy this Tuesday, June 24th, out at Assiniboia. Good luck.